this is Mike from Minimal 3DP, and today I'm working on the A and B belts on my Voron 2.4 R2 Pro Plus. So let's go ahead and get started. So today I'm starting to work on routing the A and B belts on my Voron. It's been a while since I worked on this, so I want to get back to it. And again, I still need to move all the parts out of my hallway. I'm getting in more and more trouble because I've let everything spill out of my office and into the hall as I'm doing this build. And one of the main reasons is my daughter's cat no longer wants to sleep with my daughter and would prefer to sleep on my Voron packaging. And as you can see, here's a picture of the cat enjoying the Voron packaging. So with that being said, let me switch over and we'll start the belts. Now, as I've done the previous segments of this video, I'm just going to page through the instructions. Now, one thing I did notice as I'm going through here, I'm not seeing anything that says what length belts I need. And so what I did was I switched over to the Voron website, and let me show you that, and then configured the Voron for myself, and then scrolled down and found that I needed two 2000 millimeter, 6 millimeter wide belts for this. And let me show you the packaging and we'll look at that. So I have the belts on my desk. Now, the one thing I want to show is this is the packaging. And what this doesn't show is that there's two belts in here. So I've spent an hour digging through everything I have, looking for another bag like this that's at 2000 millimeters. And instead, it was right here in front of me. So once I opened this up, I realized it comes with two belts instead of just one. So something to be aware of. Now, it was just a dumb mistake on my part, but I'm just letting everybody know to be aware that, at least in my case, you should always open the bags up and see what's in there rather than searching for an extra hour looking for parts. So with that, let's get started with actually running these belts. So my first step here, what I'm going to do is I need to loosen these idlers. And what I'm interpreting this as, I need to loosen this all the way. And then I'm going to give it 4 turns. And I'm just going to switch over and do the same on the other side. And so we'll get those loosened up. So as you can see with these loose, I can actually move the idlers back and forth here so they slide around. Now, to me, this is a little confusing as to how the belt's going to run. So I'm going to take this really slow. And if you have questions, I'm going to be honest, I have lots of questions too. So looking at the directions, I've loosened the idlers. Now it's having me put the backing in on the stealth burner. And so you basically do all these parts. You're putting in the heated inserts, the nuts, all that good stuff. And then you're mounting on the rail. Now, in my case, I'm not going to use this. This is where I'm going to deviate from the instructions a little bit. BQ Tech was nice enough to send me the Chaotic Lab CNC Voron Tap version 2. And so I'm going to use that on this printer. So again, they sent me this for free. And I'm real excited to give this a shot. What I like is this should actually simplify things. Now, as part of the build process, it's not in the directions, but I've added my little stoppers here underneath on the bottom of the linear rail here. And I also added one here. And I've done this so that way I have plenty of space and also the axes are sitting still. I'm just unpacking the Voron tap. and everything's moving appropriately. And the only thing I need to do is loosen these screws here, and then this is going to be installed right here onto the carriage. So let me loosen these, and the screws are already in there, so they came pre-inserted. Now, as I mentioned, I dropped 2 of the screws already. So let me put these bottom screws in first. So the bottom screws are in, and then let me find where I dropped these other screws, and we'll get those installed. So I found my screws. Again, something to be careful of. I've gotten this all tightened in here. And what I do like about this tap is it's well machined. The screws all line up with the existing holes. That makes my life easy. Like I said, just want everything nice and tight. This is moving well and nice and tight, and then it's not loose at all. So now this is installed, and I want to take out the belt clamps here. So these need to come out, and I'm going to be very careful with those and put those down on my bed. Now, if you remember, one of the things I've done is I took off the PEI sheet and put it aside. So right now, all I have is the magnet, which is actually good because hopefully these screws will stick to it. And so both the belt clamps are down there, and the belts are going to start right in here, and we'll get those seated. Now, this is going to be a little difficult because I'm doing this by myself. You might actually need some help. So what I'm going to try to do is set the belts right in here, hold them in place, and then put the screw in. In fact, let me start the screw so that way I can just tighten that down. Now, reading the directions, I want the belt faced away from the extrusion. So the belt teeth should be facing away from the extrusion. And I barely have that screw in. And just to verify on the instructions, down here it says belt teeth face away from the extrusion. So I'm taking both belts, and this is A and B, and I'm just going to place them in here. I'm going to hold them in and then tighten the belt clamp down. Now let's make sure those are seated in the slot. They are. I'm going to tighten this even more. So I want that totally tight so the belts don't come loose. So I have both belts in there, and the way I'm interpreting the diagrams is the top one's A, bottom one's B. So let's look at our next steps. I realize my camera is moving a little bit, and I'm just going to apologize for that. Now, what I'm going to do is not step on the belts. And I need to start running the belts, and right through here, there's a little pulley. So this is going up above, up towards the top. And I need to push this around the pulley. So I'm going to use a Allen wrench, sort of push this towards the back. Now I'm going to pull all the slack through. I'm going to pull all the slack through, and I want to make sure this sits on the pulley. That's a little difficult with how I'm moving this. Let's first get all the slack through, and then I'll worry about getting it to sit on the pulley. I'm just going to move this back and forth a little bit. There we go. Okay. So I have the belt on the pulley right here. Now I'm going to go towards the back, and let's see if I can figure out how this goes. There's a pulley back in the back right here. So I want to take the belt, and I want to slip it through the side here. course, let me get around where I can see. So I'm trying to slip it around here. And I want to pull it out the back. I'm not feeling it. So I'm going to need to get down, and I can see it's getting stuck inside. Now it doesn't help that this belt was in a loop. So let me try bending the back here. I want it going around the pulley in the top. There's two pulleys here. Teeth are still pointed outside. So the teeth don't go towards the pulley. I want to pull all my slack through. Now I'm going to move the head all the way over to here. Now, make sure the belt's on the top pulleys. So we have the left side of the printer, looking at it, is routed. So now let me go back over here and go down to the next area. So let me see if I can figure this out. So the belt, and let me change my camera angle. Now I've turned the printer around so you can see it. Here's my belt. It's going to go around. We want to go like this, around the pulley, and this is going around the motor. Now the teeth, if I can do this right, the teeth are actually facing towards the motor. So we're coming around the motor, and I'm using an Allen wrench to sort of guide the belt. This is a little difficult. Let's pull this up. I want to be able to get the end here of this belt. You can't see it. So the belt needs to come through. Let's see. Belt. Let's pull the belt through on the other side so I can see it. And what I'm trying to do is come right through here. I'm going to bend the belt a little bit. Oops, almost had it. There we go. Now, we need to make sure the belt is on the teeth here of the motor. You'll notice it's right in the path here of this pulley. So let me lay this down. Let's look at what the next step looks like. Now the belt, and we're going to try keeping a little bit of tension here. We're going to slip the belt up this way. You can see that the teeth on the smooth pulleys face away. Now we're running up next to here. And let me turn the printer around and we'll look at the front. Again, I apologize for the shaking camera. Just sort of is what it is. Now, this needs to twist inside. So it's one reason why I have this all loose so I can see everything. Now there's a pulley inside here. So this needs to go in. So it's going in the slot here. There's a slot right next to the extrusion. And let's see if I can get a Allen wrench through here. I need a thin one. Let's see if I have something thin I can use. So I got a thin Allen wrench. I'm going to try to push the belt through the idler. And let me look around here, see if I can see it. Now this is, like I said, this spot is really difficult to get it in here. And I'm going to push this through. Let me see if I can do this off camera and I'll come back. Okay, so I got the belt through. I had to use an Allen key and a pair of tweezers. Now there's a pulley in here. You want to make sure it's going around that pulley. Now over here, you'll see here's the gear with teeth on it. Now if we go around here, you'll notice that the teeth of the belt are going towards the teeth of the gear. And so now we're back at the assembly here for the Chaos Lab Tap 2. Now, I'm going to pull the belt through a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay. What I'm going to do is let's put this, I'm going to move my stopper over to the other side. And I'm going to turn the printer around so we can see the front, and then I'll route that belt. Actually, I'm not going to route that belt. I'm going to leave this as is. Let's now start with the B belt. So I'm going to move the printer, and then we'll look at the B routing. Now we're back looking at the front. Now I'm grabbing the bottom belt. And I need to take this. This is going around the teeth, and the belt needs to route towards the front. Again, the teeth are going towards the teeth on the gear. As I'm doing this, I want to make sure and verify that the belt's all running straight and I don't have anything turned around. Now, this is another case where there's a little slot here in the back. I'm going to route the belt into the slot. So the belt's going to route in the slot, and I need to push the belt this way. So I'm pushing it towards the outside, and I'm trying to get it to go around the pulley. So as you can see, I got the belt around the idler here, and I'll be honest, I needed to use a pair of tweezers to push things through and around. So it's a little difficult. Now I'm just going to go up next to the arm here. I'm going back here to the back, and let me turn the printer around so we can take a look back there. Okay, so as you can see, the belt's going to come down through here. It's going to come around the back here, around this bottom pulley. Going to go through here, and what we need to do is go around the motor. We're going to come around the motor. And again, the teeth are going to be against the motor, and it needs to come back around. There we go. So now the teeth are touching the motor, and as I'm pulling it, I can actually see the motor turning. So I'm going around the back here. I'm going to pull all the slack through. Again, we want to keep the slack out. And let me pause and move the camera again. So this is fairly easy, so I'm just slipping this through here. This just needs to go around and touch this bottom pulley. And again, for the smooth pulleys, teeth are away. Tooth pulleys, teeth towards the pulley. So now, let's turn the printer around and we'll take a last look as we're doing this. Now it's a little bit hard to see, but hopefully you can see from the diagram here. The belt's going to need to come through here. And I'm going to do a 90-degree turn around this smooth pulley. Now, there we go. So I have both belts pulled through. And what we're going to need to do is get those into the belt tightener. So let me give it a minute. Let me take a look at the directions and see what the next step is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to start and tighten in a little bit the thing to hold the belts in. I'm going to need to pull these tight. Let's see if we can get this in. Now, it's been noted many times before, I am fat-fingered, so I'm expecting this to go a little rough. Yeah, I got the belts seated, and the way I did that was I held the belts down and then screwed in the piece. Now, I don't have this tight, so I can pull the belts a little bit. And what you need to do is make sure these belts are the same length. That's how you make sure your belts are at the same tightness and all that. Now, what I'm going to do is grab these with a pair of pliers and give them a yank. And then tighten this in. So I'm tightening the belt into the tap. Now, I want to make sure, again, these are about the same length, because that means I have the tightness just about right. Now, once we have this tight, let's make sure the other side is tight as well. I'm just going to keep tightening that. There we go. That is as tight as I can get it. It looks like it's sitting in the grooves here. And I'm just going to leave the slack here for right now. And again, check the lengths of these. These two belts are the same length. So what that means is if everything's laying correctly, you should have the belts tightened appropriately and everything else. Now, what we're going to do is we need to go around the printer and make sure all the belts are sitting in the various grooves, touching the teeth on the teeth gears, and just make sure everything is running appropriately. Now, I made a mistake here with the tap. I have this little piece here, and this needs to go right up in here. There's two screws you can barely see. So what we're going to do is just install this, and this is for the end stop. So what we're going to do, hopefully you can see this, there's two little screws right here. We're going to take those out. This bit is working. These are tiny, tiny screws. What I'm going to do is put my hand underneath and catch the screw. So I caught it that time. Now here's the little piece. It's going to go in just like this. So I'm going to put the screw in the hole, and I think I'm going to use the inside hole. I want to hold this in place, be very, very careful. I'm going to look at it from over here so I can see. Yeah, and have that sort of tight. I'm just going to grab the other screw here. Turn this so it's straight. Hold the screw so I can seat it. So I just want to tighten that up. So I have that little end stop right there. So this is going to be the end stop holder. This is on the back of the tap. So I finished routing the belt, and I've realized I've made a mistake here. So we're going to rectify this mistake. And what I've done is I didn't look clearly at the instructions for the tap. And what I'm noticing is, and let me take out this side. We're basically going to pull some of this through. And I'm going to undo the other side as well. And this is okay. So I'm just going to pull these belts through. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to get a little bit more slack here. Now, what you need to look at, and I'm going to switch over to the direction so we can look at this a little closer. So I was looking at this drawing, and if you look real carefully right there, there's actually slits there. So there's holes. So what's happening is the belts need to go back here of the, let's take this out. I'm going to take this screw totally out. There's actually little slits behind here. And one, I need to make sure these belts are the same length. So let's do that. So I want them the same length. Okay. So I got them the same length. Put a little stopper in here because I do not want this rail moving. Let's see if we can move it a little forward. So I'm trying to get the stopper in there. And of course we can't. So let's see if I can get it here. There we go. Okay. So I got a stopper in here. And I'm going to make sure these belts are the same length. So I'm trying to get them the same length. There we go. And what I need to do is go behind here, and I'm going to go around. Now, the easiest way probably to do this is I'm going to dismount this off the rail. Let's switch over to the camera. That might actually help. You can tell I'm a little bent out of shape at myself that I screwed this up. Okay. You can see there's these holes here. So what this needs to do is come behind here and then come around in front. I'm using my tweezers. Pull the belt through. If you look, hopefully you can see this here. It sort of came around. Let me get a flashlight so we can see this. I apologize, there's no good light here. So you can see it's coming around the back there. That's the top one. Let's do the bottom. This makes much more sense. And what I want to do is, again, let's make sure these belts are even. They're the same length. So now we have that in. So let's go over here. And I'm going to put the clip in here. This is always a little embarrassing for me because I can't make a video without dropping pieces. For those that are younger than I am, and I'm 51, I think some of the part of me getting older is the fact that my hands, I'm not as steady as I used to be. Now, let's see if we got this in here right. Try and get that in. Just need to get it started. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So I'm making sure these belts are even. Push them down. Let's see if we can. So I'm just getting that over like that. And as you can see, they're even. Now I'm tightening this down. And I'm just going to leave this hanging just like this for a minute. Now I'm going to come up and do the same thing here. And I'm just trying to get these. These I have tight. So I have the left-hand side tight. I'm going to take out the piece here on the right. So I'm going to make sure top belt, going through the top here. I get my tweezers and I'm going to pull the belt through. Now again for the bottom, I want to pull the belt through. And now I like this setup much better than the way I had it. This actually looks like it's going to hold the belts. Be no slippage. This was my fault because I looked at the directions, but then I didn't look at the directions. Now, on this side, all I'm going to do is I'm going to barely put the screw in because I want a little play with the belts on the right-hand side. The reason for that is I want to actually get it mounted and then tighten. So I'm just taking this, holding the belts down in the path, and screwing this in. It's sort of just a little bit tight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this. Now, a whole bunch of drop screws later, I finally got this. Like I said, it's pretty damn embarrassing because I keep dropping everything. So what I'm going to do is pull these. I need to pull these, and what I'm trying to do is pull them tight, while at the same time keeping them even. Hopefully you can see. So I'm just going to grab these with my pliers. Oops. And of course I need to grab them both simultaneously so I can pull them tight. Let's lay them on top of each other. And turn this. So I'm pulling these as tight as I can get them and trying to keep them both even. So I have that pretty tight. What I'm going to do is just buckle this down, and that's much better. Now, since I made a move here, I want to check all my paths and make sure everything is sitting right. In the front, everything's looking good. Let's look around the back. Whoops, we have a belt off a track here, so I'm just going to wiggle it up a little bit. Popped into the track a little bit. Now, I pull my blockers out. Everything feels square and it's moving. So these are pretty much even. I might need to make a small adjustment there, but anyway, this is the proper way to install this. You need to make sure that the belts are as even as possible. They're the same length. The path is the same length. And you just want to make sure that's all correct. So again, sorry for my mistake earlier. Hopefully that helps. Let me just show the flashlight again up here just so you can see. So you can see the belts are pretty much even on both sides. So anyway, thank you. Hope you have a good day. This is Mike from Minimal 3DP. I want to thank you for joining me today. Hopefully, if you have any questions or comments, you can post them below. Feel free to subscribe. You can also drop me an email at minimal3dp@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks. Have a good day.